No. If I speak, do you hear me? No. If I speak, do you hear me? You're really quiet. Yeah, I can make out everything you're saying, but if I speak, do you hear me? If I speak, do you hear me? If I speak, do you hear me?
It feels like every driver update we get from NVIDIA prompts a huge spike in forum posts and angry tweets saying, NVIDIA ruined my FPS in Game X with driver YYY.ZZ and planned obsolescence. But is there really any rhyme or reason to these claims? Or is it just a bunch of crap? We tested it, and we're gonna tell you after these messages. Browse privately and securely with TunnelBear, the simple VPN app. Start your 7-day free trial at the link in the video description. Now, before we really get into this, I want to clarify that I've been a long-time skeptic when it comes to NVIDIA and AMD conspiracy theories. They're almost always half-baked, fanboy purchase decision reinforcing rants, and frankly, they make my brain hurt. Seriously, Jake tried a lot of different search terms, all the way from NVIDIA driver hurts performance to NVIDIA broken, how please, and not even one post contained concrete evidence of a legitimate decrease in performance over time. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of posts about the 375.86 driver's memory clock issue, but no one has gathered sufficient or really any evidence showing that NVIDIA has purposely harmed performance of older cards to force their users to upgrade through a driver update. So, I decided to painstakingly assign
No.
Jake the task of testing it ourselves. First, we needed to pick some games. We wanted a mix of ones that use only standard features of the DirectX API, and at least one example that uses NVIDIA's proprietary GameWorks. Then, to ensure we weren't missing out on a particular architecture that got kneecapped because it was like too good compared to the new thing they needed to sell, we grabbed a flagship from every generation, from GTX 680 all the way to 1080 Ti. With games and cards selected, the next challenge was drivers. We can't test all of them, so we eventually settled on the drivers one release after the launch of each card that we used, and the most recent one available at this time. So the idea then was that this would show us a clear progression over time. Is NVIDIA improving, ignoring, or outright harming the performance of older cards once the new generation comes out? So, driver by driver, card by card, Jake ran almost 200 rounds of benchmarks, collecting 3 metric ass tons of data. Then he sat down to organize it into some charts, and the results are astonishingly
Yeah.
The most recent release seems to be a bit of a turd across the board, so there's that. But in general, not only did performance not decrease, there were small but noticeable increases over time in almost every case. Due to the minuscule nature of these improvements, It's hard to see where they actually start and end, so we're not much closer to a clear picture of NVIDIA's internal policy with respect to product software support, but it does at least tell us that NVIDIA has never rolled out a Sandbag Edition driver. Which doesn't mean they've never rolled out a bad driver. 375.86 hurt performance, and SLI issues seem to come and go like Shadow from Final Fantasy VI. So what is going on then? Where are people getting these ideas? We think the perception mostly stems from this. When a new game launches, older GPUs don't get the full optimization treatment the way that the current ones would. That means that you might run into situations where older cards with more raw power might be beat by newer ones with less. TechSpot showcased this in their articles on Project Cars and Battlefield 1 performance, which are linked down in the video description, where you can see a GTX 970 outperforming a 780 Ti. And there's another major factor, the tech. Not all graphics solutions are the same. The goal with every new generation is to tailor it for the features of the game engines that are in wide use or are right on the horizon. Examples would be NVIDIA-specific features like Hairworks, or general rendering techniques like HBAO plus ambient occlusion. Older silicon doesn't handle either of these things as well because they either didn't exist